All right, I think it should be visible now. Thank you very much, everyone. Sorry for your patience. Sorry for the mild delay. We are going straight ahead into what we have for today. Okay. Please, if you are unmuted, kindly mute yourself, please. I would really appreciate that. Kindly mute yourself. And you may want to turn off your video too, so that we can have enough bandwidth to work with, either from your end or from my end. So if you spinned up your R Studio, I want to believe by now everyone has been able to download their R Studio and R. Let me try and increase the size here so that we can all see. Let me move that to around 13. Is that okay? Yeah, I think it's better. All right, so I want to open the window that has the, some persons are dropping messages. Okay, somebody is done with theirs. Okay, I want to believe you are referring to the task. Well done. All right, so if when you open your window, it's showing this, just click on this, this top button here. Once you do that, it's going to open the code window, the code area, where you'll be able to type. Some persons' mic are still on, and then they have videos on. How can I help such persons to mute now? To help them to mute. Let's see if there's any other person. Please, once you come in, just mute yourself so that we can go hitch free. Somebody's video is on. I think Mr. Biopo, your video is on. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at a couple of stuff. So today we are looking at Course 2, and in Course 2 we're going to be looking a little bit details into the data structures that we have. Okay, so we're going to be looking a little bit in details into the data structures that we have. So allow me to just get a couple of codes down here to make the explanation will just be easy and easy. Okay, so let's go. I just copy a couple of codes and then just paste them here. All right, great. So the first thing we want to look at is how to create vectors. So yesterday we were able to ascertain that there are a couple of data structures. We have vectors, we have matrices, we have data frame, and then we also have lists, and you know, and so on and so forth. So if you want to create a vector, it can be vector of numbers, like we saw yesterday, numeric vector. It can also be a character vector. All right. Yeah. So essentially, you can create a vector of anything. Okay. So in this case, we are creating a vector of numbers, numeric vector, but we call it age. So here we have 32, 15, 18, and 22. If you put your cursor here and you click on run, this vector is created. How do you know? Look right here. You are able to see the object age is created here. Now, how do you access the values inside the vector? How do you access the values inside the vector? As you can see here, if you use square brackets, that is one of the ways to access the values inside the bracket. So you use square brackets, and then the position of the particular, are there messages coming in? So the position of the particular element you're looking for, if it's element in position number 1, when you do this, it's going to return 32. That means position number 1. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. If I'm looking for 22, it will be position number 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I were to put 4 here, this is going to return 22. All right. So the position of the element you're looking for, that's what you use in accessing the element. So if I actually want to multiply the fourth element, if I okay, don't worry about downloading the first class video. You are only to watch it. When it's on YouTube, you can download it if you like. All right. So one of the advantages of having to access the elements wherever it is in the vector is that you are able to perform operations on it. Okay. So if what you want is the fourth element here and you want to do something to it, let's say you want to divide by 2. All right. This is actually a valid operation. When you do this, you get 11. So it assesses the element in the fourth position and then divides that by 2. All right. Let's go back to what we had there, which is 1. So if you do this, it's going to give you 16. Okay. Very good. So the next thing we want to look at is you want to add element. So if you want to add element to the particular element, so this is how you do that. You will just put the object itself in the new vector you are creating. Make sure the name of the object is the same name. So in that case, you're going to have this added or appended to the last part. Okay, it will now come after this 22. If you run this now, this will give you a new one. And if you run age itself, selecting and run it, okay, that is going to give you 45 added. As you can see, 45 is added to the particular vector. I hope that makes sense. So how do you subset a vector? So you want to subset a vector. Now, let me do a brief return to that video that you watched. You saw how brilliantly the presenter in that video made us all to understand the advantage in trying to do your data analysis using the programmable approach. All right. And he repeated something about 2 or 3 times. And it is the fact that you are able to repeat what you did in an exact fashion. Not just that, someone else can pick up your code, make corrections, and can actually reproduce what you have done. Okay. And if you ask me, I would add that it is actually very flexible. Imagine you having to be clicking at clicking one place, clicking the other, and then in the end you have this beautiful thing in Excel. Nobody knew how you got to it. If you left that in 5 years and you return back to it, you may have no idea how you arrived at it because probably you have forgotten. But using the programmable approach, every step of the way, you can read it, you can see what you did. If you actually commented your code, you'll be able to see your code. All right, very, very well. So that's something we should be proud of as far as programming approach is concerned with your data analysis. Now, coming back here, if you want to subset your data, this is how you do it. Take note, this is how you do it. You want to subset, so you put the object here, square bracket, all right? Whatever inside ages, anything that is less than 30 is what I want to return for ages. Numbers less than 30 inside ages, I want to return them. When you run this, it's going to return numbers in ages that are less than 30. And look at it here. We have 32, 15, 18, 22, and 45. When we run this code, we are returning only 15, 18, and 22. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think so. Now, the next thing is to return the mean. So now you are beginning to kind of perform some operation on the object, the vector ages. If you, mean is a function here. Mean is a function, all right? If you carry out this operation on ages, it's going to return a single value. Of course, you understand what mean is when you add all of this together and then you divide by the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You add all these together, the summation, and divide by 5. It gives you 26.4. So that is the mean of that. I want to believe that makes sense. So briefly, let's know, do we have anyone with questions? Let's try and get, do we have anyone with questions? Do we have anyone with questions, please? I'm looking at the chat right now. If there are anybody with questions, please let me know. Who is actually following us with the coding? Who is following? We have 27 persons on the call. Is anyone following with the coding? If you're following, go to the chat and drop following. Where do we, okay, Ferrum, Adiremi, good, good, following, good. Someone is asking, where do we use square bracket and the other? I'm trying to understand what you mean by the other. But if you go back to the code, you see it. Sorry. If you go back to the code, you'll see how we use the square brackets, depending on what you are trying to do. Depending on what you are trying to do. When we were trying to access elements, we use the square bracket and the position of the element. Okay, we just use this divided by 2 just to perform an operation on the result of this. Okay, so aside that, another place where we use square bracket is here, where we try to subset the values inside the vector. We wanted to return a few values that meet our criteria. And what is the criteria here? The criteria here is where the values are less than 30. That's the criteria here, where the values are less than 30. And when you give that criteria here, all right, and after these resolves, what comes out is values that are less than 30. And you're able to see it here. It returned 15, 18, and 22. When we went further, we saw that we can actually perform a summarize operation. In this case, mean. When we perform mean on this object, the vector, it returned 26.4. All right, so I hope we're able to resolve that. Yeah, Olushesi, please let's know if that was an answer to your question. All right, so can we move on? Do we have any more questions? Yeah. I think you're right. So other is the curly brace. Okay. Ages, yeah, qualify. Yeah, this person is following. Very good. Very good. Interesting. Okay. Good. So if you're actually following, that will help as well. If you must repeat what we're doing, it will really help you later on because you'll be doing it the second time. All right. But if you're not able to follow for one reason or the other, you may want to be taking your notes or you are paying rapt attention to what we are doing. So let's move ahead and go into matrices. Yesterday, we looked at how we can create a matrix, all right? How we can write a new matrix. And in this case, we want to write matrix of number 1 to 6. And we want to, this is the dimension declaration, 2 rows and 3 columns. 2 rows and 3 columns. And of course, 2 times 3 is 6, so it has to be equal to the number of data you are including there. Okay, so when you run this, for example, when you run this line of code, the matrix has been created. The matrix is math. Let's see the matrix itself. Okay, look at it. So this is the matrix. Okay, so remember when we were assessing the vector, we were using a single value because vector is one dimensional. It's one dimension, just a single, straight array of data. But in the case of matrix is two-dimensional. Matrix is two-dimension. What do I do in the code area to make all the elements to appear in row in the console area? Okay, if you assign it to an object, you may need to select the object itself and then press run. That means you use your mouse to select that or type the object name in the line below and click on run. If you do that, it's going to show the value of the object, all right, in a straight line like you said. Try that should work. See that you highlight it with your mouse and click on run, or you type the name of the object the same way it appears because R is case sensitive. If you instead of typing math, if you went ahead and typed capital M instead of the small letter m, that's another object entirely. To tell you object not found, that's an error. So coming back to matrix, matrix is 2-dimension. If you want to access matrix, you will give it firstly the row dimension, the row position here, and then the column position. So in this case, we are looking for an element in row 1, column 2. Element in row 1, column 2. If you run this format, it's going to return 3. What is the element in row 1? This is row 1. Okay, I want to believe what I'm doing makes sense. This is row 1. And what is row 2? This is row 2. Look at the movement of my mouse. This is row 2. This is row 2. I'm sorry, this is column 2. Beg your pardon, this is column 2. In that case, 3 becomes the element we are talking about. 3. 3 is what falls in row 1, column 2. All right? So you can use this method to access any element. So let me receive answers in the chat. What is the element? How would you reference 6? So if you are looking for 6, how would you locate 6? Type it there. Math something something something. Let me see that. Leave it in the chat. I'm watching the chat right away. I'm looking at the chat. If you want to access 6, how do you access 6? How do you access 6? What you have on the screen. How do you access 6? I want to see those who are following. You need to type it with the name of the objects. Don't just tell me column and row. Okay, somebody says maths. Okay, somebody give another answer. Okay, so far, some persons are giving answers. I don't know which one is right yet. As far as R is concerned. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 answers so far. Can we have more? Can we have more? I'll tell you which answers are right and which are wrong. Okay, so we have the first answer is wrong. The first answer is wrong. The second answer is correct. The third answer is wrong. The fourth is wrong. The fifth is wrong. The sixth is correct. 7 is correct. 8 is wrong. Now you are wondering, why am I saying math is wrong? Some of you use capital letter M. Okay, as far as the code that I have on the screen is you type capital letter M, it's going to tell you wrong. So it's small letter. Then once you have crossed that hurdle, the next thing is 6 is in row 2. 6 is in row 2. Then when you have row 2, the next thing you want to consider is what column is 6? 3. So those who typed math, small letter math, row 2, column 3, they are all correct. So let's see that. Let's say we have math, square bracket, 2 row, and then 3 column. What will it return? It should return 6 if we are all right. Correct. So that is that. So that is how you access elements in a matrix. Okay. So let's do something. Can we see how we can? Let's create a matrix that have 2 rows. All right. And then let's see 5 columns. In that case, let it be 10. Okay, I'm going to push out a question here. So let it be 10. But before I do that, while that object is still the way it is, if you want to compute the sum of the row, you use this function. This is a function now. You will learn later how to write a function, but this is an inbuilt function. It is called row sums. Look at the way the words are written. The S here is capital letter. Okay, capital letter. This is what you call camel case. The small letter beginning, and then Python uses this method a lot. All right, so row sums, take note of that. And then column sums. So the the columns sum. That means you are summing 1 and 2, you are summing 3 and 4, you are summing 5 and 6. So let's go with the row sums and see 9 and 12. I'm sure you understand what this means. 9 and 12. So row sums, you are adding 1 plus 3 plus 5. That is the first row. Second row, 2 plus 4 plus 6, 12. Then you have 9 and 12. It gives you another vector having two numbers because there are only two rows. What will you get? So do this for me. What are you going to get if you computed the column sums? It's either you do it or you just give me an answer. If you run it, give me the answer. If you are computing column sums, I just gave you an example of row sums. If you are computing column sums, what becomes your result? Let's see. Drop your message in the chat. What becomes your result? It cannot be a single value, please. The column sum cannot be a single value. Let me give you an expo. It's going to be 3 different values. 3 different values. So what's the vector of your column sums? Let's have answers rolling in. Come on. If you are actually not okay, let me bring the matrix up so that there will be no confusion. This is the matrix. So this is the matrix. All right, so let the answers roll in now. What do you think will happen for your column sums? I give you an example of row sums. I'm expecting 3 answers for each column. 3, 7, 11. Okay. 3, 7, 11. 3, 7, 11. How am I sure these are right? How am I sure these are right? Okay, I think you guys are right. 1 plus 2, 3 plus 4, 5 plus 6. So very correct. So now I want us to do something. Do this on your own and then give me the values of so you give me so I'm going to ask a few questions. So let's say this is a very little class exercise. I'm going to call this we already have math in memory. Let's create math 2. Okay, so math 2 is another matrix we are creating. It has 2 rows and 5 columns. All right, so run math 2 and then find the position. Okay, or how do you access, let me use this, how do you access number 7 in the matrix? And then what is the value of, take note of this, column sums for the 4th column. These two, I'm giving you maximum of 2 minutes. That is too much, but in the first case, I'm expecting a reference with a square bracket. In the second case, I'm expecting a single value. All right, so run this for those who are working, or you can take your pen and write it down what you think might be the answer. Make sure you write the matrix in the way it's supposed to be, taking a cue from matrix of 1 to 6. Because if you miss it, you're going to miss number 1 and number 2 questions. All right. So you have 2 minutes, I said. So your time starts now. Let's see who gets that. Somebody is already giving us answers. I don't know if the person is right or wrong, but let's see. We would know if the fellows are right or wrong. Okay, so okay, let's see. Okay, let's go back to our task and see how we are faring. So some persons are giving answers 1,4 and then their response. So let's see. To be able to run this, we are going to run this code, math2. All right. And we run this, the math object is created. Let's see how it looks. This is how it looks. So if we are looking for the position of number 7 is first row and fourth column. So if you wrote math 2 square bracket 1,4, then sorry, if you wrote this, then you are correct. Then you are correct. So the next thing is that we want to look at column sums. Okay, column sums. Supposed to be this column sums of maths 2. All right. If we are doing for column sums for maths 2, and you do this, you are going to get this. But the question is, what is the value of columns for the fourth column? First column, second column, third column, fourth column. Fourth column, and fourth column, the answer becomes what? The answer is 15. Okay, for this particular one, this is the answer. This is the answer for that. All right, so let's see who got that. Okay, who got that? All right, somebody, you don't have a name here, so I'm not going to call your name. You have guests here, and we have somebody else who got it. King, yeah, clap for yourself. Okay, so that's interesting. Now, so let's go ahead. We want to now consider data frame. Another interesting aspect, data frame. So data frame is one of the types of data structure that you are going to be working with more often, especially if you are into marketing, if you are into research. A lot of data come in form of data frame. The table we looked at yesterday that we used for the analysis of the schools in Portugal, it's a data frame example. So a typical Excel sheet is a data frame. So in R, we call it data frame. Even in Python, I think so, they call it data frame as well. All right, so this is how you create a data frame. Data.frame is a function. All right, data.frame is a function. So let me go back to that example of yesterday. There was a column, if you were in class yesterday, there was a column called MED, which we saw to be mother's education or something. All right, so if you are to create a data frame using all those information there, okay, you literally will be saying data.frame, and then here, this name will be edu. And then here will be all the values under mother's edu. You have made the age also has to be 20 because you are representing each of the elements that are in. So John has his own age, Amy has her own age. All right. So if you are creating a data frame, this is how you do that. So let's just run this very simple. We've created it, but how do we know? Let's run df. Data frame. All right, create a data frame right now, and then you are going to post your answer in the chat. I want today's class to be a little bit interactive. Name that has age, and then the third element is gender. Male, name, age, and gender. Mind you, your gender should be either an F or an M. I want to see what you would do with your F or M, if you leave it ordinary or you do something to it. So let us have that as quickly as possible. I'll give you another 2 minutes for that. Run that and let me see the value of your data frame. All right. So I am waiting. Create data frame of age, of name, of age, and then of gender. Gender will have two female, two values, male or female. So check it out. Okay, so I just showed you. I showed you this thing we're working with, the particular data frame that we're working with before I gave the example. So this is a data frame called DF. I created this data frame. It has only two columns, name and age, and this was how we created it. So I want you to create another data frame that has one more field, name, age, and sex or gender. So how would you create that? Let me see if you can draw some intuition. After name, you see that there was a comma here, right? So I expect you, before you write the third one, you should include a comma here. And then use this C to combine it. It now depends on what you are going to put inside. But I want John, of course, to be male and then Amy to be female. Are we done? I hope that makes sense, Osita. Okay, so there is 1 more minute for those who are following. 1 more minute. After that, we will. I will try and see what I can do to solve that problem. Okay, 30 seconds more. Okay, so no one was able to crack that. Okay, somebody just posted something. King, let me see what he posted. Let's see. Male and female. That's good. That's good. So if you wanted your male to be capital M, then your female should have started with capital F. The female should have started with capital F, but that's a good trial, and it's worth noting that you were deliberate about. Let's see, male, sex is male, comma. All right, you forgot to run it. Talking about who is this person that posted this? Guest. I asked you to change your name, please. Guest. I don't like addressing you as guest, so you may want to change your name. Otherwise, type your name in Okay, good, good. We're back now. All right. So as you can see, just a moment, please. Okay, please confirm if you are able to connect and you can hear me. I think we are back. Okay. Good, good, good. So let's go ahead. All right. You can hear me. I can see your message now. All right. So the name referencing is when you use the column name together with the dollar sign, and then you are able to use that to reference that particular column. So in this case, I'm going to use this dollar name, which is this name here, to reference everything I have here. All right. So when I do that, I'll run this. It's going to give me John and Annie. All right. We don't have height yet. We don't have height, but you can now use dollar and a new column name you want to create. This is how you add a new column. This, I don't know, R is kind of very, very simple. So this is how you add a new column. You use the dollar and the column name. You don't need to add what is it called now? You don't need to add inverted comma. No, just write a new column name, and then you're supplying it with value directly. So if I run this now, it's going to include height to my DF. Now, let's say I was able to create DF without adding the gender. This is another way of adding gender. So I will have just come here and say dollar gender, and then I'll give it the value directly. That would still have worked. But in this case, I'm adding height to DF. So if I run this, height has been added. Let's see DF alone again. So if we run for DF and we run this, now you see that height has been included. All right, the value of height is now showing here, the one we just added. All right, so the next thing we want to look at is let's see how we can filter. All right, let's see how we can filter or subset, as it were. We want to subset our data frame. Want to subset our data. So this is very useful. Let's say you have a data of an entire class and you want to see those students that are older than 15. All right, students that are older than 15 in the class. You just, you want to see the information of students that are older than 15. So all you just do is very simple. Just go to, someone is sending a message, I guess. Okay, why is mine showing this? Let's see. What is yours showing? Let's see that. Okay, so unexpected string. Um, 6. How did you create it? Okay, are you seeing what I'm seeing? In your sex equals to, check what you wrote there. There are too many inverted commas around your F. Too many inverted commas. So try and correct that. All right, I think that should be it. That should be it. So correct the inverted comma. There's an extra inverted comma after your female. Yeah, that should be the problem. All right, so I hope that solves it. Yeah, that should correct it. Okay, so like as we were saying, if you want to subset for a data, in this case, you want to see the number of the information about students whose age is more than 15. You can just do something like this. You say in this student data, do to only data frame that has information students more than 15. Nigeria, all the state and local government in Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. and then you're looking for information about, where the age of the person. So you can do all kinds of subsetting as far as R is concerned. So in this case, we are subsetting this age. As you can see, is returning only John's name and John's information, because only John has, only John has this particular criteria. All right. I hope that makes sense. Okay. What else? So you can go further and do a couple of summarization and all of that. So we are not doing that right here. So you can do all kinds of other things as far as that is concerned. So we want to go further to explore what you can do with data frame. All right, what you can do with data frame. So in this case, we have two data frames. We have df1 and df2. All right, we created them like this. df1 has ID 1, 2, 3, and then value 10, 20, 30. df2 has, this is df2. It has ID as well, but the values are more than what you have in df1, and the fields are not exactly the same. Okay, take a look at that. We have group here, A, B, C, D, and then we have ID 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is good. So let's run this. Let's run df1. I hope I'm audible and my screens are visible. Okay. Okay. So let's run df1. If we run df1, we have this. So let's see how that looks like. Good. So we have ID and value. Good. So let's run df2 now. This is df2. Let's see df2. So for df2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 under ID, then group A, B, C, D. Now, the first operation we are carrying out on these two data frame is what you call a merge operation. So we are merging two tables, as it were, df1 and df2. But because they are two separate tables, there needs to be a unique identifier that exists in the two tables that you will use as a reference for merging. Those who are into some database, they know a few things about primary keys and secondary keys. All right, so you can take that cue from that. But as far as this is concerned, this ID is the same in df1 and the same in df2, just that the IDs are more for df2. But nonetheless, we're using that to merge. So if you're using that to merge, we're creating another data frame called df3. If we run this particular code in line 64, and you run that, df3 is created. But let's see the value of df3. Imagine you only have 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30, A, B, C. What happens to 4? What happens to D? All right, so what this has done is that it only retained the data where they have common values. All right, as far as the IDs are concerned. So there is no 4 in df1, so it omitted that. And as you can see, there is no 4 in the data that is returned. Okay, but there are ways you can return that. So let's look at the next example. The next example is still a merge operation, but you are given an extra argument here. And what is this extra argument? Please retain all my x. That's why you see this all.x true, meaning I want you to return all x. Whatever you want to put in the corresponding value of df2, I don't care. All right, so let's run this and see the results. All right, so actually it returned all x. Yeah, it returned all x. It is when it returns all y, because y is longer than x, that you see the other side of what I mentioned at first. So let's run all y. Now, when you run all y, the part of x that does not have a corresponding value for y will be given NA. So NA is more like a no data stuff, not applicable, no data. So that's what NA is. So in this case, you return all the values of both. Some other places are showing NA while others have values. Okay, so I want to believe that makes sense. At this point, let's go for questions and answers. Do you have any questions? Anything you need clarification on at this time? Let's know, please. You want to drop a message on the chat or you want to talk? Let's go back and listen to us. So if you want to talk, just raise up your hands. I will unmute you so you can talk. If you want to talk, raise up your hands. I will unmute you so that you can talk. Okay, let's hear from Chimo. Yeah, please unmute yourself and talk.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. Well done, sir.
Yeah,
Yesterday I tried to join and I tried to download all you said which you downloaded, but I'm unable to download this is it this page you are using for this coding. I'm
R
unable to
Studio.
download it. R Studio. I'm unable to download it up to moment. And as we speak now, my system has even gone off. So I'm using the phone to follow the class now. So
Let me ask, were you able to download R?
yes, yes.
Okay, is it that you don't know the link to download R Studio, or your network was not allowing you to download, or why?
My network is okay. I don't know what happened. I tried to download it, but it's not showing. As in, it does not show me the column to download the R Studio.
Oh, really? Did you
Yeah, I followed. I can't hear you anymore, sir.
downloading R Studio? Did you see the link I sent for downloading
Yes,
R Studio?
yes, I followed
Can
the
you hear
link.
me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now. So
Okay, so if you follow the link, you should be able to download it. All right.
maybe,
Yeah, you should be able to. Just a
okay, I will.
moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Let me try and see if I can get the code to you again.
Okay,
You
sir.
should be able to download it. Let me see if I can get the code to you again. R Studio, right? So I'll post this link in the chat right now. Try
Okay,
as
sir.
much as possible and click on the link again. So this takes you to a download page. I'll send the link. This
Okay,
takes you to
sir.
a down. You see the download. Okay, you say your system has gone off. So the download button is is showing at the top right corner. You see it there. And I believe if you click on it, it should okay, it shows another areas. You just download Studio, the ones to the left. There are two of them. Download the ones to the left.
Okay.
After clicking that link, you see R Studio. Download the one to the left for your
Okay.
desktop. Hmm?
Thank you, sir. That will be tomorrow because we don't have light now. So
It's okay.
okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Just trying to show you. There is a free one, and there is a free one. There is the professional one. So what you need is the free Arrow Studio. Okay. Yeah, that won't be an issue. Good. So let's go ahead. Okay. Any other person? Okay. Just a moment. Let me get Sabioko is asking to talk. You can drop your hands now. Mr. Bioko, are you still raising up your hands? Let me see if you are still doing that. Otherwise, let's assume you have lowered your hand. Okay. Please speak, Mr. Tisma, if I'm right. Please go ahead and speak. Unmute yourself and speak. All right, go ahead, please. Oh, yes, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. T-Smart.
For me, I downloaded the R Studio and the R yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So up to now, trying to install it is giving me an error code. I haven't went on YouTube to download to follow the how to clear off the error code. Downloaded some other things that will enable me to install the package, but I've not still be able to download as in run the package on my system. I'm using a Dell, though it's a Windows 7 Dell. I don't know the issue.
But you should have shared with us the error it's showing. Did you install R first?
Yes. I followed all yesterday's class up to today. I was even trying it since morning. Let me put on my system. I will share the error it's showing because I had to go on YouTube to look for how to play it off.
Okay, so if I think it shouldn't be a big deal. So you can share it and let's see. Who else? Okay, Papa T. All right, Papa T, you can ask your question, sir.
Okay, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
God bless you. Thank you so much, sir. The slight challenge I'm just having is on the data on my screen, how I would, link up the differentials that the way you are putting it. I wasn't able to get it because my network was coming off and on yesterday. Even part of it did that today. But with the little experience that I garnered this, I was able to just, kind of catch up with you on that area. My now challenge is on my own R Studio. I'm not able to input and follow the way you are doing.
Okay, so take a screen of your R Studio, what you're trying to type, this exactly you're trying to do. Just take a screenshot and post it in the
Okay.
chat. I'll see it and just correct that immediately.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Do I do it on that? Do I do it on the WhatsApp or right here?
Do it right here, sir. Do it right here, sir. I don't have. I'm not looking at the WhatsApp. Get it right here in class.
Hello,
Let's
sir.
see that. Can you hear me? Do it right here, sir.
Okay.
Right here, sir. Mr. Toby.
God bless you, sir.
And you too, sir. Mr. Toby, please unmute yourself and speak. You.
Good evening.
Yes, please.
I'm lost. Like I was not able to do everything you've been doing. I've not been able to do anything at all. Like I don't know. Let me share how my screen is. Maybe you could put me through because I don't understand anything.
It can't be that you don't understand anything. You definitely
to be
understand
honest,
something.
To be honest, I don't think I understand.
Share your screen. Let's take it off from there.
I can share my screen or
No, sorry.
just drop the screenshots.
Take a screenshot and drop. That's what I meant.
Okay, so I am about to drop it.
Okay, so the next thing we want to look at is how to create a list. Remember, I said list is another data frame type. Sorry, another data structure in R. So how do you create a list? You use this keyword list to create a list. As simple as that. You use the keyword list to create a list. And the thing about list is that lists can be multi-dimensional. Okay, you can have a nested to any degree in a list. For example, in this list, you have the first level in the list, name and GPA and grades. But under grades, you now have more than one value under grades. So this example means that John has a CGPA, sorry, has a GPA of 3.5, but these are the grades of John. So if I want to reference, what's it called now? If I want to reference grades, grades will be position number 1, 2, 3, position number 3, and I can now go ahead and now reference any of these numbers, 90, 80, or 95. Okay, so let's try and do that. Now, here you are now going to see the two ways of referencing: numeric referencing using the square bracket, and then the name referencing using the $ and the column, or yeah, you can call it the column name. Free to do that. All right, so let's create the list using the list keyword, here. So if I create this list, it is created. Okay, so let's see the list itself. Now, listen, I mean, look at this. It did not form as a table because it is not a data frame anyways. All right, so this shows us that we have, you know, a one-dimensional element, John, name under the what's it called now? Yeah, under the identifier name, and then the GPA is under the identifier, and the resulting value to the GPA is 3.5, and then another identifier grades, and the resulting values are 90, 80, and 95. So how do we assess only the name? The name, you rewrite this, the list, the name of the list, and then $name. If you run this, it's going to show you John. You can see that. Okay, so what will happen if I use this method of indexing? Double square bracket and then 1 inside. This should give me John also. Notice I did not use a single square bracket. What happens if I use a single square bracket? It still tried to give me John, but in actual sense, it is supposed to be double square brackets. Okay? Yeah, so it has to be double square brackets very easily. So if I go with 2 here, it's going to give me 3.5. If I go with 3, it's going to give me, it's giving me 90, 80, 95. 90, 80, 95. So how do I assess 80 if I want only 80? I dare anyone to help us out. Now, this is giving me 90, 80, 85, like this. If I want to access 80, how do I access 80? Somebody drop a line of code for me. Drop a line of code for us. Yeah. How do we access 80? T-Smart, you dropped an error. I'm sorry, that skipped my mind. So I'm not really seeing it. It's very light. Maybe you drop it in WhatsApp. I'll look at it later. Okay. Yeah. So you can see if I have an idea of what is going on there. All right. So do you have an idea, guys, how to access 80 in that line of code? When I use double square bracket, somebody is writing. Okay, this one you wrote now, run it and let's see the result now. This one will give you big error. It's not going to run. Okay, 3,2. Okay, before you send it to me, run it and see the result first. 3,2. Yeah, let's try it now. My list, double square bracket, 3,2. What will this one bring though? Let's see now. Incorrect number of subscripts. Why now? So this is wrong. This is wrong. Okay. This is wrong. So somebody should help us. What do you think will be how to go about it? Okay. let's help ourselves. Let's go there now and work. So if you want to reference 80, you assume that this entire thing is an object in itself. Okay, so you will now be referencing it as if this is a vector, a numeric vector. So 80 is number 2. So you will now put a single square bracket outside of that, and then 2. So if you run this line of code, it's going to give you 80. You can see that. Makes sense, right? So it solves this first, and it goes ahead to solve this. This references the identifier, the grades identifier, and then the position of 80 is 2. Does that make sense at all? I want to believe it does. Okay, so we are adding something new. See how we are adding it here. R is very interesting. We are adding age. We could use 2 methods. We could use my list $age, or use this method, double square brackets, age, and then 30. If we do this, something is going to be added to my list. And if I select just my list and I click on run at the top here, click on run, age is now added. Age is added. I hope that makes sense. So do we have questions? Friends, do we have questions? Today's class has been interesting. Do we have questions? Okay, if we don't have questions,
yeah,
move ahead.
there's a question, sir.
Okay, just a moment, Let me get some body of code. So, moment. Okay, so what is the question, please?
Yeah, but the code you just wrote now, can you consider it to be a matrix? If you want to access that 80, consider it to be a matrix of row 1, column 3, and column 3, row 1, column 3 is the matrix. Then to access 80, you try accessing the elements of that matrix to be that of A12. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are making sense, but you are not following the rules. Okay, so if it were to be a matrix, then we would have formed it using the keyword matrix.
Okay.
What we formed was a list. We use the keyword list. Secondly, the property of a matrix, everything inside a matrix has to be numbers. You won't see age or you won't see other stuff in a matrix. You won't see even those words. You won't see them in a matrix. Okay, I hope I'm making sense.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the peculiar property of a matrix. You won't see words. You won't see numeric. You won't see character related stuff in a matrix. You won't see John. You won't be seeing this GPA. You won't be seeing this name. It will just be numbers. Okay, if you remember where we declared the matrix here. Okay, we declared the matrix 1 to 10, number of row, number of column. And in the end, when the matrix came out, did you see any other thing aside the numbers? No, we saw only numbers. So if you have watched the matrix film, you'll see that it's a world of numbers. Okay, so when you're dealing with just numbers alone, that you can be considering your data in form of matrix. Now, this particular one is a list, and I'm just showing you here how to access values in a list. There are 2 methods. Using the name referencing $, okay, the $, and the particular object you are referencing, the $. If let's assume you are working with remote sensing imageries, pictures, multi-dimensional imageries, you're to be working with that, that is when this one will be very useful for you, I bet you. Okay, because the way they are arranged, piled upon each other, band upon band upon band upon band, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so just accept this as how this is done. Another way you can do this is, let's say this is grades. Then after you do that, you can now access 2. If I do this, I'm expecting this to give me what I want. So let's run that. It gave me 80, as you can see. So in case these square brackets are confusing you, what I have done here to here, this highlighted part is actually just the grades part. After the grades, I'm saying inside the grades, look for 2 for me. Okay. Okay. Are you not even concerned? Let's even say I have another. Let's say I have something. I have something here called C, and then I have this. Let's watch the nested. Just watch how I'm going to nest this guy. Okay. So in this one, I have 95, I have 10, and then I have 50. Do not tell me no now. Let me recreate my list, I beg. So if I recreate this list, it actually worked. So if I'm looking for my grades, let's run the grades first and see what the value of grades come out to be. Oh, it comes out as what? 90. It comes out as 80. It comes out as 95, 10, 50. Okay, not bad. I was expecting it to give me something else. But let's say I want to reference 1, 2, 3. I want to reference the third one. Let's see what it gives me. Position number 3. Oh, it gives me 95. I mean, I was expecting something else. So, yeah, it did not, it deconstructed everything and made everything singular, which is okay. Yeah, I can't complain. Yeah. So, this is how you reference it, please. You are not going to be using matrix because this is not a matrix. Okay. I hope that makes sense. The person that asked the question.
Very well, sir. Very well, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right. Now, to everyone, please see this thing as trying to learn the properties of numbers, properties of data, properties of different data structures. So just see it as a learning adventure. So you are seeing, okay, this is how you can relate with data frame. This is how you can relate with a list. This is how you can relate with matrix, or you cannot deal with matrix the way you would deal with data frame. The more you get this thing, sinking, and the more you understand these things, it will become part of you, and then you will be able to establish how to work with all kinds of data structures. All right, depending on the one you're working with. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so any other question, please? Any other question before we move on? Okay, so let's go ahead and show you some more R. Okay, so we are going to be looking at operators. Now, this might appear very simple, but yeah, we just need to know that these things exist in R. So there is the addition operator in R, where you add 1 plus 1 together. That should give you a 2. There you go. That's a 2 there. There is a subtraction operator. Just the subtraction you know of. 2 minus 1, the answer is 1. There is the multiplication operator. If you do that, you're going to have 6. And there is the division operator. If you do that, you have 2. There is the power operator, raised to the power of 2. 5 to the power of 2 is 25. If you do that, that's going to be 25. But some of you might not be familiar with this. It is called the modulus operator. Modulus operator. So what this does is very simple. If I were to divide 10 by 2, the answer is 5. Because 2 can divide 10 exactly without a remainder. But if I'm dividing 9 by 2, come on, you are going to tell me something like, okay, 4, remainder 1. That remainder is what modulus is trying to find. So if I'm dividing a value by another value and it does not give me a whole number, that extra on top is the modulus. So in the example I gave for 9 divided by 2, if I were to say 9 modulus 2, my answer will be 1. That means 4 remainder 1. That 1 is what modulus is trying to compensate, is trying to ask you. Okay? So when you say 10 modulus 3, the answer is 1. Because 10 modulus 3 is 3 divided by, 10 divided by 3 is 3. That is 3 times 3, 9. The remainder, if I run this is going to give me 1. I hope that makes sense. This should give me what? Let's even say 7 modulus 3. Come on. It's still going to give me 1, I beg. All right? I hope that makes sense. Someone is dropping a message. What might that be? It looks like our network was friendly today, at least more friendly than yesterday. Okay, so let's enjoy it. So the next operator is the logical operators. It will interest you to know that logical operators also interact. Yeah, so they do. So the AND operator for true and true, that means true and true. Okay, this operator this is the OR operator, and this is the NOT, logical NOT operator. So how do they operate? So if you are saying, so you are using the AND on the logical data types. So the AND upon true, meaning that the two of them have to be the same thing. Sorry, the AND on true will give you true. Simple. But the AND on true and false, meaning true and false, you will get false for that. You're using AND, true and false, you're going to get false. But if you're saying true or false for the OR operation, you're going to get true. Because true will take precedence when it is OR. But if you are having true and false, false will take precedence. Let's run this. The answer is true. For this, the answer is true. I hope that is making sense. Okay, and not true means the negative of true, or sorry, the inverse of true, and the answer will be false. Does this make sense at all? Okay, let's do a quick exercise. If I have true and false, what does that give me? Give me your answer. Give me your answer in the chat. If I have false and false, to be sure you understand this. If I have false and false, what does that give me? If I have false and if I have false and true, what does that give me? There's an answer to that already. But if I have true what other combination can I get? If I have yeah, I think I've almost exhausted everything. So give me this 3. Give me the answer to this 3. Somebody is typing. Oh my goodness. I need to know which one you are responding to, please. So type the question and then give me the answer in front of it. That will help me better. True and false is false. Correct. False and okay, you are using, okay, false is the answer to false and false, correct? Correct. And then, okay, sorry, I can't place the particular king. You're answering false, false, true. Let's go and look at the code. False, false, true. Yeah, the third one is true. Correct. The third one is true. Correct. False, false, true. Yeah. So any other person? All right. So I think, yeah, to a very large extent, we are moving on. That makes sense. That makes real sense. Okay, so let's look at comparison operators. Comparison operators. So if we are asking logical, so these comparison operators, they are going to return logical answers, true or false. Okay, comparison operators will return, no, all answers are not false, please. Let's go back there. All answers are not false. For false or true, the answer is actually true. False or true, the answer is actually true. If it is about or, true is there, is going to be, so in part frank, all answers are not false. Only two are false. Okay, King got it correctly. All right, so let's move ahead quickly. Our time is almost clocking. Okay, if you're sending messages in WhatsApp chat, I'm not on WhatsApp. What messages? Messages are just coming. All right, so comparison operators will return logical answers, true or false. So in this case, you are asking, it's like you're asking a question. Is 1 equal to 1? This is the meaning of this operator, comparison operator. You're going to be using it at some point when you need to compare something you don't know to something you know. And then whatever answer comes out from there will determine what next thing you will do. Okay, so in this case, you're asking the question, is 1 equals to 1? This is going to return a logical operator true, as you can see. The next one is that you are saying that 1 is not equal to 2. What should this return? Is it a true or a false? It's a false. Sorry, is it true? Sorry, it's a true. Of course, 1 is not equal to 2. Here, you're saying 1 is less than 2. 1 is less than true. That is true. 2 is greater than 1. 2 is greater than 1. Of course, that is true. 1 is less than or equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 1. Tell me, please, what result will this one respond? Don't run it over. 1 is less than or equal to 1. One is less than or equal to 1. Somebody is saying false. Somebody is saying true. True. 1 is less than or equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 1. Okay, the answer is true, actually, because it's either of the two. Okay, it's either of the two. Of course, we know it's not less than. So if you have a false or a true, the true will be the answer. Okay, it's true, as you can see. 2 is greater than or equal to 1. So 2 is not equal to 1, but 2 is greater than 1. Since it is an or, in this case, is also going to be true. Okay, so if you are combining operators, this is combining operators, 5 plus 2 times 3 and all of that. So yeah, the brackets will override the multiplication, and then you have a 7 times 3, which is 21. Okay, the bracket will always override. The bracket will take precedence. Okay, now you can imagine, you can almost say what this will be. So somebody should solve this for us. 1 is equal to 1 and is greater than 1. What is the answer that comes from that? 1 is equals to 1, 2 is greater than, and 2 is greater than 1. What is the solution to these two questions? Solution to these two questions. The two questions, what is the solution to the two questions? Okay. Good. So the two of them actually returns a value true. Because although the second question has one that is false, but because the first one is true, it becomes true or false. And when you have true or false, true takes precedence. Okay? I mean, true becomes the winner. Okay, so we are almost done for today's class. Let's see if we have any more thing to add. Okay, so let me just add this very quickly. I'm not going to run this particular code. So in R, you can actually upload data from external source, CSV, and even Excel sheets. Okay, CSV and Excel. So if the directory you are working on currently, mind you, if you want to set a directory, we haven't looked at that. There's a keyword called set working directory. Okay, and then let's say you have a directory. Let me just copy some directory here. Cohort2. You copy something from a folder link. You see how it plays out here, like this. This is a directory, very long one. Okay, let me try and shorten it. Let's say this is a real directory. Okay, so when it comes like this in R, you have to change this forward slash to backward slash for all of them. If there are many, use the replace stuff here. And once you do this, you have set the working directory. If you set your working directory, that means your data is in that working directly, then you can just refer this. So this is how you can import your CSV file. When you import it here, you can assign it to this DF as a data frame. Okay. In fact, you can even add an extra stuff here. So say DF equals data frame equals to true to show that it's a data frame. But don't worry, we can just leave it like this. So yep. So this is how you import. If you want to export, let's say you have something, a data frame already, and you want to export it out as a CSV, you use this keyword write.csv to export. If it is Excel, you can use read underscore. I think there is a particular package that this one works with. If you try it and it doesn't work, you can say for the out, you can read Excel in of course, because you can now reference the sheet. And if you want to write out your Excel, because you are reading in one sheet at a time, so you can only write out as a CSV. Okay, in this case. All right, so I think this is where we will draw the curtain on tonight's class. It's time to entertain your questions before we call it a day. In the meantime, I'll stop the recording. Thank you, everyone.